Thanks, Michelle. Michael Jackson's personal physician was convicted in Michael Jackson's death yesterday afternoon. The judge denied bail for Dr. Conrad Murray and sent him straight to jail. Sandra Hughes has more from the courthouse in Los Angeles.
Dr. Conrad Murray was led away in handcuffs, found guilty of involuntary manslaughter in Michael Jackson's 2009 death. The judge said Murray is a risk to society.
Dr. Murray's reckless conduct in this case poses a demonstrable risk to the safety of the public.
The jury sided with the prosecution. They agreed that Dr. Murray administered a fatal dose of the anesthetic propofol to the pop star in the run-up to his big concert comeback.
Our sympathies go out to the Jackson family at this time for the loss that they have suffered. Not a pop icon, but a son and a brother.
Jackson's fans and supporters erupted in cheers outside the courthouse.
We had no doubts. That's why we're here.
Family members have been in court throughout the trial. Jackson's sister LaToya expressed her joy.
Michael was watching over us. Yeah, he was watching over us. Happy? Yeah, very happy.
Jurors deliberated less than 9 hours and were escorted out of the building after the verdict was read. Murray's lawyers left the courtroom without commenting. The defense tried to portray Jackson as an addict, desperate for sleep. They claimed Murray was a victim of Michael Jackson.
He was just a little fish in a big, dirty pond.
Dr. Murray faces up to 4 years in prison at his sentencing on November 29th. Murray's medical license will be suspended and he could lose it for good.
And Dr. Conrad Murray could end up serving less time due to, of course, overcrowding in the California jail system. Mike Bottaro is a lawyer who blogs on safety and consumer issues, and he's actually been following the trial of Michael Jackson's physician, Dr. Conrad Murray. He's here today to discuss communication between doctor and patient. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Well, this was really a thriller of a trial. We had 22 days of testimony, nearly 50 witnesses took the stand, all over the issue of whether Dr. Murray was committed involuntary manslaughter, which basically amounts to criminal negligence in his care and treatment for Michael Jackson.
Right, and we've all been following this trial very closely for a long time, but from a doctor-patient perspective, what can we take away from this? What can we learn from this trial?
Well, I think there are some things we can learn, as a matter of fact. I mean, first of all, we put our innermost trust in our doctors, and trust is a two-way street. The doctors need to understand from us what our other prescriptions are, who our other doctors are, what exactly we're doing, and the doctors need to inform the patient. What totally blew me away about this trial, Michaela, was there was virtually no records kept by Dr. Murray. Think about that for a minute.
Which is lesson one, really, for any doctor, is you got to keep records.
You learn that really on the first day of medical school, and you also learn that you need to inform your patients. There was no informed consent here signed by Michael Jackson, obviously, and Dr. Murray was prescribing very, very dangerous drugs without any sort of documentation.
So do you feel as though Michael Jackson should have been a little more particular in the selection process with his physician?
Well, I guess at this point we never can really get in Michael Jackson's head, that's for sure.
I don't know if we'd want to.
Right. But certainly, patients here in Rhode Island, we have some great resources for doing research on doctors. The Department of Health maintains a website. We can find out more about our doctors, their education, their experience. We need to do our homework when we choose our doctor.
And in terms of responsibility that we have for our doctor, I mean, what should we kind of keep in mind when we are being treated and things like that, maybe things that we should take care of personally?
Absolutely. I think several years ago, Dr. Grootman wrote a best-selling book called How Doctors Think, and it was went into how important it was for patients to tell their doctors what was going on with their medical history and their treatment, so that doctors could make accurate diagnoses and really treat the patient the proper way.
All right, so definitely have to have that communication going there. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Always a pleasure. And to read more about communicating with your doctor, head to foxprovidence.com.